There's a moment in the morning that most people never think about, yet it may be one of the most sensitive periods your body goes through every single day. It happens right after you wake up. One moment, your body is at rest, calm, stable, functioning in a slow, controlled state. And the next moment, everything begins to shift. Your heart rate rises, your blood pressure adjusts, your entire system transitions from rest to activity. Now, for most people, this happens automatically and it feels completely normal. But what's often not understood is that this transition is not instant. It's a process. And during that process, your body is more sensitive than at almost any other time of the day. I've seen many situations where people felt completely fine when they woke up, only to feel dizzy, unsteady, or uncomfortable shortly after getting out of bed. And in many cases, there was no underlying condition that explained it clearly. It wasn't something dramatic. It was something simple. A small habit, repeated every morning, that placed unnecessary stress on the body at the exact moment it was least prepared for it. And what makes this even more important is that these habits often feel normal. They don't seem dangerous. They don't feel extreme. But when they happen at the wrong time, they can create a chain reaction inside your body. Today, I want to walk you through what's really happening during those first minutes after you wake up, why your body becomes more vulnerable, and what simple changes can help you move through that transition more safely and comfortably. To understand why this moment matters so much, you need to understand what your body is doing while you sleep and what changes when you wake up. During the night, your body operates in a completely different mode. Your heart rate is lower, your blood pressure is reduced, and your system is focused on recovery and repair. This is a state designed to conserve energy and maintain balance. But when you wake up, your body doesn't simply turn on. It begins a complex transition. Hormones are released to prepare you for activity. Your nervous system shifts from a calm state into a more alert one, and your circulation adjusts to support movement. All of this happens within a relatively short period of time. And while your body is designed to handle this transition, it still requires a moment to adjust, especially after 60, when these systems are not as responsive as they once were. This is where many people unintentionally create problems. They move too quickly, they rush the transition, or they introduce additional stress before their body is ready. And because this happens every day, the effect becomes a pattern. Not something you notice immediately, but something that influences how your body feels over time. Now let's talk about one of the most common habits that can interfere with this transition: getting out of bed too quickly. For younger individuals, this usually isn't a problem. The body adjusts almost instantly. But as we age, the response becomes slower. When you're lying down, your blood is distributed evenly throughout your body. The moment you stand up, gravity pulls a significant amount of that blood downward. This means that for a brief moment, less blood reaches your brain. In a well-functioning system, your body compensates quickly. But after 60, this response may take longer. And during those few seconds, you may feel lightheaded, unsteady, or slightly disoriented. Many people ignore this, assuming it's normal. But what's important to understand is that this is your body asking for a smoother transition. When you stand up abruptly, you force your system to adjust instantly, rather than allowing it to adapt gradually. And when this happens repeatedly, it can contribute to instability, especially in the morning when your body is already in a sensitive state. Another factor that plays a major role during this time is hydration. After several hours of sleep, your body naturally wakes up with less fluid than it had the night before. This is completely normal, but it also means your system is starting the day in a slightly different state. When hydration is low, your blood becomes more concentrated, which means your heart has to work harder to circulate it. This is not something you feel directly, but it affects how efficiently your body functions. And when this is combined with the natural changes that happen when you wake up, the increase in activity, the shift in your nervous system, it creates a situation where your body is working harder than necessary. This is why something as simple as drinking water in the morning can make a meaningful difference. Not because it fixes everything instantly, but because it supports your body at the exact moment it needs it most. It reduces the load, improves circulation, and allows your system to transition more smoothly into the day. Now let's talk about a habit that many people actually believe is beneficial, something that has become increasingly popular in recent years: taking a cold or very cold shower immediately after waking up. On the surface, it seems like a good idea. It feels energizing. It creates a sense of alertness. And many people believe it wakes up the body. And for younger individuals with highly adaptable systems, the body can often tolerate that sudden change without much difficulty. But after 60, the situation becomes very different. Because what feels like a quick refresh on the outside is actually a strong signal to your body on the inside. A signal that something intense is happening. When very cold water hits your skin, your body reacts instantly. It interprets this as a sudden environmental stress, and its natural response is to protect itself. This protection comes in the form of constricting blood vessels near the surface of the skin. In simple terms, your body tightens its circulation pathways in response to the cold. And when this happens suddenly, it creates a sharp change in how blood moves through your system. Now imagine this happening at the exact moment your body is already transitioning from rest to activity. Your heart is adjusting, your blood pressure is rising naturally, your nervous system is becoming more active. And on top of that, you introduce a sudden external stress. This forces your body to react quickly, rather than adapt gradually. And for a system that is already in a sensitive state, this can create unnecessary strain. Not something you may feel immediately every time, but something that adds pressure to your system over time. And in some cases, it can lead to noticeable symptoms, dizziness, discomfort, or a feeling that your body is overwhelmed in those first moments of the day. Now let's go a little deeper into what's actually happening inside your body during that moment, because this is where the real understanding begins. When your body is exposed to sudden cold, especially first thing in the morning, your circulation system reacts almost instantly. Blood vessels constrict, and this causes a rapid increase in resistance within your system. Your heart now has to work against that resistance, pushing blood through tighter pathways. At the same time, your nervous system becomes highly stimulated, increasing your heart rate and raising your internal activity even further. This combination creates a situation where your system is forced to respond quickly rather than adjust gradually. And this is where the timing becomes important. Because your body is already in a transition phase after waking up, adding an additional stress at that moment can amplify the effect. It's not just the cold itself, it's the combination of factors happening at once. Your body is adjusting its internal balance, and then suddenly, it is asked to react to something intense. For some people, this may feel like a brief shock. For others, it may create a stronger response, a sense of imbalance, lightheadedness, or discomfort. And while this may pass quickly, the repeated pattern is what matters. Because when your body is exposed to this type of stress consistently, especially at its most sensitive moment, it begins to influence how your system behaves over time. There is also another layer to this that many people never consider, and it involves how your body regulates pressure and internal balance throughout the day. Your system is designed to maintain stability, but it does so by adjusting continuously. When those adjustments become too frequent or too intense, your body has to work harder to keep everything in balance. And over time, this creates a kind of background strain that you may not notice immediately, but that affects how your body feels overall. This is why many people begin to experience subtle symptoms without connecting them to their morning routine. They may feel slightly unsteady when they get up, or notice that their energy takes longer to stabilize, or that they feel a bit off in the early part of the day. These are not always dramatic signs, but they are signals. Your body is communicating that the transition from rest to activity is not as smooth as it could be. And once you begin to understand this, it becomes much easier to see how small changes can make a meaningful difference. Because the goal is not to eliminate everything that feels stimulating or refreshing. The goal is to align your habits with how your body naturally functions, especially at its most sensitive times. Now let's bring this back to something practical, because this is where the real value is. The solution is not complicated, and it doesn't require giving up your routine completely. It's about timing and approach. Instead of exposing your body to sudden extremes immediately after waking up, give it a few minutes to adjust. Allow your system to transition naturally. Sit up slowly. Give your body a moment to stabilize. Support it with hydration, and allow your circulation to adjust before introducing anything intense. When it comes to your morning shower, starting with a moderate, comfortable temperature allows your body to ease into the day rather than react to it. If you enjoy cooler water, that's not something you need to eliminate entirely, but it should be introduced gradually later in the process, once your body is already stable and prepared. This simple shift changes the entire experience from something reactive to something supportive. And that's the key difference, because your body is not resisting these habits. It's responding to them. And when you begin to work with your body instead of against it, everything starts to feel more balanced, more stable, and more predictable. There is another factor that almost no one connects to their morning routine, Yet it can quietly influence how your body responds during these first minutes of the day. And that is medication. Not in a negative or alarming way, but in a way that requires awareness. Many people over 60 take medications that support their cardiovascular system, especially for maintaining stable pressure and fluid balance. And these medications are important. They are often necessary and beneficial. But what is rarely explained clearly is how they interact with your body's natural state in the morning. Some of these medications influence how your body manages fluids and minerals. Over time, this can subtly affect the balance of certain elements your body relies on for stability, especially those involved in how your heart functions on a cellular level. And again, this is not something you feel immediately. It develops quietly, gradually. You may notice small signs, occasional muscle tightness, a sense of internal restlessness, or moments where your heartbeat feels slightly different than usual. These are not necessarily problems, but they are signals that your system may need a bit more support. When this internal balance is slightly off, your body becomes more sensitive to external stress. And this is where your morning routine becomes even more important. Because when your system is already working to maintain balance, adding sudden changes, like abrupt movement or extreme temperature, can amplify that sensitivity. This is why awareness matters. Not to change anything on your own, but to understand how different factors come together and influence your body as a whole. Now let's bring everything together into something simple, structured, and easy to follow. Because this is where real change happens. Instead of thinking about avoiding certain habits, it's more effective to create a routine that supports your body during this transition period. A simple, consistent sequence that allows your system to move from rest to activity in a controlled way. Start with awareness. When you wake up, resist the urge to move immediately. Give your body a moment. Take a few slow breaths and allow your system to begin adjusting naturally. Then, instead of standing up right away, sit up slowly and pause. This gives your circulation time to respond before gravity shifts everything at once. Next comes hydration. A glass of water at room temperature helps your body restore balance and supports circulation at the exact moment it needs it. Then, give your body a little time to adjust to being upright. Move your feet slightly, engage your muscles gently, allow your system to stabilize before standing fully. When you do stand, do it gradually, and take a moment before you begin walking. These steps may seem small, but together they create a completely different experience for your body. Instead of reacting quickly, your system transitions smoothly. And that difference is what supports stability over time. And now let's talk about the shower again, but this time from a practical perspective. Because the goal is not to remove something from your routine, but to adjust how you approach it. Start with a comfortable, moderate temperature. Something that feels natural to your body, not extreme. This allows your circulation to remain stable while your system continues to adjust. If you enjoy cooler water, introduce it gradually, not all at once. Begin with your lower body. Allow your system to adapt and only then move upward. This gives your body time to respond without triggering a sudden reaction. And most importantly, pay attention to how you feel. Your body always gives feedback. If something feels uncomfortable, unsteady, or overwhelming, that's a signal to adjust. This is not about pushing through discomfort. It's about supporting your body in a way that allows it to function naturally. And once this becomes part of your routine, it no longer feels like effort. It becomes automatic, just like the habits you had before. But now they are working with your body instead of against it. So here's what I want you to take with you. The first minutes of your morning are not just the beginning of your day. They are one of the most important transitions your body goes through. And how you move through that transition shapes how your system responds, not just in that moment, but throughout the day. You don't need dramatic changes. You don't need complicated routines. What you need is awareness and consistency. A slower start, a smoother transition, a routine that supports your body instead of rushing it, because your body is not fragile, it's responsive. And when you give it the conditions it needs, it adapts in a way that feels more stable, more predictable, and more comfortable. So tomorrow morning, instead of jumping straight into your routine, pause for a moment, move a little slower, give your body time, and notice the difference. Because often, the most powerful changes are the ones that feel the simplest. If this gave you a new perspective, take a moment to reflect on your habits or share this with someone who might benefit from it. Sometimes understanding one small detail can make a meaningful difference over time.